Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 12, Episode 13, overall 618 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, or call them at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969 and has been a proud sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show for the past 3 years. I hope everybody is doing well on this Friday, November 14th, 2025. November is flying by. I'm looking forward to my guest today. This is her first appearance on our show, and I met her through Facebook. Her name is Robyn Gilleran. She is a stand-up comedian, an actor, a voiceover talent out of Detroit, Michigan, and we're going to bring Robyn on in just 1 minute. I got a new feature I got to use on StreamYard here first. So before we bring Robyn on, we got to do this first. Okay, that's a new little thing on StreamYard.com, by the way. That's a little plug for StreamYard.com for live streaming purposes. And we're going to bring on stand-up comedian Robyn Gilleran right now. To talk a little bit about her comedy career, acting career, and a little bit about her voiceover work as well. And she's based out of one of my favorite cities and states in the U.S., Detroit, Michigan. Good morning, Robyn. How are you?
Hi, I'm great, Chris. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thank you so much. And you were the first guest that you got to use the applause on. That you put a new little gadget on StreamYard, so I wanted to try it out on here.
I love it. I need it for some of my comedy reels.
Well, hey, Robyn, thank you so much for coming on. And nowadays, without getting into politics, with all the doom and gloom in the world, I think we all need more comedians and more comedy these days.
Absolutely. Yeah, but there's always a reason to smile no matter what's going on. And it actually helps you escape from some of that stuff sometimes. So it's good to catch a show or watch a video online if you can.
I was checking out your website, and very impressive career as stand-up comedian, but also doing some acting work and voiceover work. And I saw your demo reel, and that was very impressive.
Great. Well, thank you so much for checking that out. It's fun to put that together. I used to work in video and television production in the background, and I have a little bit of experience in editing. So I actually put all that stuff together myself, and I do all of my own clips for now. It's a lot of work. So I think as I move on in the world, I may have to hire somebody to help with that stuff.
I as you can see, I've got my Pistons hat on, but I literally wear 9 hats doing this show. And 2 years ago on Christmas Day, I decided to sit down on my laptop, on Christmas Day, and I learned how to edit video. I did not like it at first. It took me a while, and now it's like, I love doing it every day. It's part of what I'm doing. So I self-taught myself.
Yeah. And it's a lot of work, right? And you have to learn all the shortcuts. It can get a little easier as you do that, but it is time consuming.
Absolutely. And we have a viewer watching from California. He's been on my show as a guest. He's a former U.S. military veteran, and now he's a professional motorcycle racer in California. His name's Edward Hearn, and he just wanted to say hello to you, Robyn, and go Lions. He's a big Detroit Lions fan out in California.
Go Lions! It's been a long time coming for us to have a good team. So
you are a Lions fan then?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I'm not a huge sports fan, but my husband is a diehard fan. He actually flew out to San Francisco when they were playing to watch them lose. So
that was hard. They were up 17 points in that game, and they played well the first half, and it just shows you how hard it is to win a championship. This week, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so Lions and Eagles, and I'm looking forward to it. Philadelphia and Detroit, both passionate sports cities, and they love their food and beer as well, and the Philly
Absolutely.
cheesesteaks. And you guys have your deep dish pizza. I have family in Michigan, and out in Taylor, Michigan, and Allen Park, Michigan.
Sure.
So, yeah, I grew up in the 70s coming over to Michigan, and that's when I became a Tigers fan, Pistons and Red Wings fan. But the Lions, I've never been a fan of, but I'm so happy the Lions are finally winning instead of losing all the time.
Yeah, I feel like you need to be born into being a Lions fan.
So,
Especially in their previous days.
so how are things right now in the state of Michigan and Detroit, comedy wise?
Oh, well, comedy-wise, we have a plethora of comedians. What's really cool about the Detroit scene is that Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, which is probably our biggest comedy club, longest owned comedy club here, it's in Royal Oak. They churn out these comedy classes. So if anybody's ever been interested in that, you can take a comedy class there at Mark Ridley's. The 101 class is taught by our friend. His name is Bill Bouchard. He's an amazing comedian, does really fun crowd work, and he teaches classes. So there are new comedians launching every few months out of the castle. And if you stick with it, you get better. That was my advice from Bill years ago when I took the class. He said, don't quit and you'll get better. So there are tons of new comedians coming out all the time, and some of them are pretty quick rising, and some of them just do it for fun. There's open micers, but then there's some really big names that have come out of our area as well, and some of them are really great up and comers. There's one woman in particular. Her name is Tiffany T Barb, and she just moved out to LA and has been making a really great name for herself and making us proud.
What makes Detroit and the state of Michigan such a great comedy area, in your opinion?
I don't know. I think it's the grit, the realness of the people that live here. We really love our city, and it's a really amazing place to live. And Michigan is just wonderful. Our seasons are amazing. We have incredible lakes and beaches, and it's a really nice, well-rounded group of people. There's a lot of culture and art, and we just there's a lot to make fun of too. You got to make fun of yourself if you have a losing Lions team for that long. We're ready to be winners now, though. We're ready.
Hey,
We're
look
ready
at
to
the
win.
Pistons. The Pistons are
Exactly.
winning now. They've won 8 in a row, 10-2. I'm in shock.
It's so fun. I actually, as my some of my acting stuff, I've actually done some work with the Tigers and the Red Wings, which is fun. I've done some commercials for the Tigers stadium, and I'm currently on the Red Wings website posing some of their merch, which is fun. So there's a lot of stuff going on here in Michigan and Detroit.
I have to ask you, how did those opportunities come about?
I have agents. I have several agents actually here in Michigan, as well as one in Ohio, and I'm working on getting one in Chicago as well, so that I can do some more work all around, the U.S. The one in Ohio, actually, they give us opportunities in Kentucky and Atlanta as well. So hopefully I'll branch out. I would love to be in a national commercial. That's like a long-term goal of mine. So fingers crossed that works out for me someday.
And maybe Canada internationally too.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't have an agent in Canada. I don't even know how that works. So maybe I'll have to talk to you about that if you have any friends out that way. Windsor's
Hey,
super close. Guelph is a bit of a drive, but
it's about
I
3.5 hours. It's about 3.5 hours without any traffic.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
do it. I'm up for it. I love Canada. I feel like I'm an honorary Canadian living so close to the border here in Detroit.
It's like New York State. Like I find the Buffalo, New York area, in Niagara Falls, New York area, and Michigan, it's really doesn't feel like I'm leaving Canada that much because you guys are so close to us. So we're very similar in weather and culture and that too.
Yeah, if you get close enough to the border when you're in Detroit, your phone will tell you, welcome to Travel Pass. Like you have international calls going on all of a sudden. So it's pretty funny.
Robyn, I want to ask you this too. For those people that are watching the show live stream or later on audio, and they're looking to get into stand-up comedy or the entertainment industry and TV, radio, or doing voiceover work like you do, how important is it to surround yourself with the right people and get the right agents?
Well, that's super important. Really, it's important to find a reputable agent. If anyone's ever asking you for money to sign up for their agency, it's probably not a legit opportunity. I've had people reach out to me and send me, copies of messages that they've received where you have to pay hundreds of dollars to be listed, or take a class or whatever. And any agent that does that is probably not a reputable opportunity. So I would really highly advise against that. Anyone who wants to represent you that is a legit business is going to take your headshot, which you should really get a professional headshot taken, and put you on their website. And there may be a small website fee, something like $25 for the year, but you should not be paying anyone hundreds of dollars. Unless you're taking like a legit class, which there are a lot of classes that actors can take, continuing education classes. And but just be aware that there are a lot of scams out there if you want to get started. And then in comedy, comedy is really funny. It's a funny business. Anyone that just goes and says that they're a comedian could be a comedian, right? You just need to be funny and have jokes. And a lot of people start through social media where they're just getting a bunch of followers, and they have all these TikTok followers, and clubs or businesses know that they're going to sell tickets. So they'll go ahead and give this person a show. And sometimes that goes well, and sometimes it doesn't, because you actually need material to fill those time slots. You can't really just go out there and expect that your crowds are going to enjoy what you're putting out if you haven't put in the work of the writing and making sure that you have a legit act to put on.
What are your thoughts on demo reels, and how much has social media changed the comedy industry and also acting and voiceover work as well?
Yeah, well, some agents won't even take you without a demo reel. So that's an interesting thing. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? How do you get the jobs for your demo reel if you don't have an agent, and vice versa? So it's interesting. You can do a lot of student projects and then start to put them together. You can start to put together a demo, based on some personal projects that you've done. I do think it's important to have something out there with your work on it so that people can see it, even if you're just getting started out. But as far as comedy goes, you do need clips. A lot of people will ask you for a tight 5. They want to see 5 minutes of your best material. And that can be at an open mic. You can go to an open mic. There's plenty of places that do that. And some of them even will provide you with a video clip. I know Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase in Ann Arbor, you do a tight 5 minutes there, make sure it's really funny. They have great crowds at their open mics all the time. And they will record it for you, and you can pay $25 and have a really nice quality tape if you don't have the equipment to record that. And then you can use that clip to try to get yourself some real booked jobs out there.
What are your thoughts on improv as well?
Oh, improv is a totally different ball game. I've not done improv. I don't have experience in that, but I have toyed with the idea of taking an improv class just because it would help me, I think, be in the moment on stage. A lot of people are looking for people to do crowd work, which I'm not a crowd work comic. And I think if you have an improv background, that will help you to have some of the tools to be more in the moment in your performance and be able to sort of deal with sometimes hecklers that you get, or even purposefully talking to people in the audience. But there's a lot of what do you call it? Arguments, or improv people will say, stand up sucks, or vice versa. And it's kind of funny in the comedy world. There's a few local Detroit people who go back and forth between improv and stand-up comedy, and it's pretty seamless for them, but some people argue and say one's better, one's not. So it's funny.
Robyn, Edward Hearn has a question for you. He's watching on YouTube, by the way. He wants to ask you, Robyn, have you had a chance to do voiceover for Disney or DreamWorks yet?
Oh gosh, no, but that sounds like an amazing opportunity if you guys have any connections. That would be great. Yeah, I have not done any national things, any big projects like that. Just a lot of local commercials and voiceovers. I used to do a lot of voiceover for a company called McGraw-Hill, which is it's like a publishing company for students. So I used to read books for students, and I always wondered if my kids were ever going to hear one that I read when they were in grade school. Isn't that funny?
Robyn, how much, I wanted to ask you this, I'll reword this. How much has getting into stand up comedy helped your acting career, or vice versa, acting helped you with comedy?
That's a really interesting question, actually. I've been acting forever, since I was a kid, and I started stand up because my husband actually is also a stand up comedian. He started about 8 years ago, and I kind of got sick of watching him. So I decided I was going to give it a try, and I turned his hobby into a career for both of us. So it's a lot of fun. But I have to say, my stand up, I think, actually suffered from being in theater and in acting, because a lot of times at the very beginning, and I'm still struggling with this, people would tell me, when I had comedy coaches, they would tell me my performance is too performy, if that makes sense. Like, people that watch stand up, they want to see someone who's in the moment, who's talking with their normal voice. And it feels like they are just coming up with those jokes and everything they're saying right there in the moment. And sometimes when you're an actor, you tend to feel, your performance is a little bit too unreal and too scripted. And so that's something that I do struggle with. So that's, one way that it has been difficult to transition between the both. But as far as my acting goes, I think that it's been really helpful to do stand up, because there's a lot more stand up shows. And so it's really been great for me to collect sort of followers through my stand up, so that they can see, oh, she does acting. And I've had actually local businesses reach out to me and say, hey, we would love to have you in our commercial. So let's go ahead and find a time, because they have seen me do stand up. And I've been able to do some comedic commercials as well, which is a lot of fun.
Robyn, for those that are watching on live stream and audio, and they're looking to pursue a career into stand up comedy, from your experiences, what advice would you give to those people looking to get into the comedy industry?
I think it's really important to figure out why you want to do comedy, because you really need to go back to that why every single time you do a show, or you get a no, or any of that. Try to think about why you want to do it, like, because it's super important to know that, and to set little goals. Um, the first goal should be to find an open mic in your area, find a reputable open mic, and that could be run at a local bar or a local club, and to sit down and try to figure out what jokes you're going to tell, whether that's you get 3 minutes at that open mic or 5 minutes at that open mic. Make sure you know exactly what you plan to say, because the first time you do it, you don't want to just go up there and not be prepared. Your friends might think you're funny, but if you're going up in front of an audience of people who are not your friends, it's not going to be the same. So make sure that you know what you're going to say, and have some punchlines. Don't just go up there and think you're going to tell a funny story and it's going to get laughs, because people will get really sick of your story right away if they're not your friends. I hate to say it. You really need to make sure that you know that what you're going to say is going to have at least a couple of laughs in that 3 minutes.
It's one thing to be funny in front of coworkers, friends,
Yes.
and family, but it's another thing to do it on stage. I have to ask you this, Robyn. In your comedy career, have you or another comedian you've seen experienced stage fright, where somebody just kind of shrunk in the spotlight and froze up?
That's a great question. And I think it happens to everyone. I'm finding, like, one of my dearest friends, we're doing this advanced comedy class together right now. And she told me recently her mind has been going blank on stage. And I said, oh my gosh, that must be so terrifying. Like, a lot of times, if I am doing some new jokes, or I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, I'm not opposed to bringing up a little 3x5 card and putting it on that comedy stool, so that if I do get stuck and scared, I can take a peek at that and know, oh, okay, this is my next joke. This was what I was planning to do. Because it is frightening if you're up there and you do forget what you're going to say. I can't remember a particular instance right now that I could, tell you the story about it, but my friend has said that's been happening to her a lot lately. And I'll be honest, like I've seen her and she told me, oh my gosh, my mind did go blank that one time. And no one notices, you know, you can just sit there for a couple minutes and, or not a couple minutes, but a few seconds, and the crowd isn't even going to notice that your mind went blank. But for you up on stage, it could feel like hours that you haven't said anything, like, oh shoot, what am I supposed to say next? And a lot of times you can just have a funny save line, like, oh, I should have taken my meds today. I forgot what I was saying next. Or, you know, I totally forgot where I was going. And you'll get a laugh out of that as well. So I think most people want to see you win. You know, when they're in the crowd, they're not looking for you to fail at your stand-up. So I think people give you a lot of grace if you're just honest on stage sometimes. If you do run into a situation where you forget what you were going to say, or bomb, or make a mistake, you know, screw up a punchline, like, it's funny to say, oh, well, that joke's better when I get the punchline right. And then people will laugh at that. We all make mistakes.
Be yourself, and also you're right. It doesn't matter if you're in comedy, you're acting, media or radio. You're going to make mistakes, and the only way you get better as a professional is to learn from the mistakes. And if you're being by yourself, most people, majority, will understand too, and they want, like you said, they want to see you succeed.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think some people are out there and, you know, belligerent and drunk, and you know, they heckle and they're mean and terrible. You know, sometimes that does happen, but I think mostly, all in all, people are going there for a good time, and they want to have a good time. The audience will tend to mimic the feeling that you have on stage. So as long as you just maintain, you know, a lighthearted, you know, feeling up there, and you aren't too nervous or scared, and you try to just let yourself be in the moment, they're going to be in the moment and try to have fun with you too.
What are your thoughts on ad-libbing as a comedian too?
Oh, I think that's super important. Sometimes you ad lib and you get a line that is amazing and everyone laughs, and it becomes a part of your everyday, you know, set. So I think it's really important that, and that's the part of, you know, when you want to, you know, try your best to be in the moment, because when you're in the moment and you come up with an extra line, it really can crush some time and make a joke perfect.
Edward Hearn, who's watching again, had another question for you from YouTube. He wants to know, looking at some of your material, Robyn, Laugh Factory in Los Angeles might be a great spot for you to try out.
Yeah, I've been at the Laugh Factory in Chicago. That's a great place. The Laugh Factories tend to be, they are, they call them showcase comedy clubs, where there's a showcase of several comedians all performing. They don't pay that well, to be honest. So to travel out to LA, it's very expensive. So you know, I do have a friend that used to do a show out there in LA, and we at the Comedy Store, and we talked about possibly me coming out. But you know, jobs like that, it's more of a vacation than a paid a thing, you know, where you can't expect to make money out in LA when you're a comic at my level. But it would be a fun opportunity to go out. I did a show once in Hollywood at a club called Haha in North Hollywood, and that was a lot of fun, but I did not make any money on that show. But it was a lot of fun to go out to LA and perform.
From that experience, did you notice a difference between West Coast humor and East Coast humor from that experience?
Oh, that's really interesting. You know, they do say travel with your jokes and see if they do well in other regions, which I do. I love to travel with comedy. Um, I I guess, you know, if you really think about it, you know, you don't like to talk about politics, of course, but there are a lot of people that are very left thinking there in California. It's a very left thinking community. So if you go out there, you want to make sure that you're telling jokes that they're going to laugh at, that they, you know, because you're going to laugh at things that are relatable to you. So yeah, it is important to think about regionally when you go and you do a show somewhere else. You know, what are they going to laugh at? Are they going to laugh at the things that I think are funny? Maybe not.
Basically, do your homework and research to where every club, wherever city, whatever
Yeah.
state or country you go into, do your homework and do your research as well.
Absolutely. You don't want to alienate your crowd. And that's why I don't do a lot of political humor. I never want anyone in the crowd to feel, super uncomfortable, or I don't want them to hate me. It's really important to be likable on stage. And for me, that means steering away from things like, religion and politics. I do have a couple jokes that I talk about religion, but it's really lighthearted and fun.
Edward Hearns get another comment. He says, Robyn, you now have a new follower on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Well, we all need followers. It's so funny because I have some jokes about how I'm addicted to Facebook because I'm an older comic, and Facebook is my jam, right? But really, clubs look at Instagram followers and TikTok followers, and even some acting agents. I have a new agent, and they asked me how many followers I had on Instagram. And for some reason, I don't know why, I have over 6,000 followers on Facebook. So I'm monetized on
That's
Facebook.
awesome.
Every time I post something on Facebook, I get paid. So I can post a picture of my dog and make 29 cents, whatever. But on Instagram, for some reason, I cannot get past, I'm trying to get to 3,000 followers. I don't even have that. So tell everyone to come follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I need them.
I can get paid on Facebook. I'm just kind of leery about giving my information for tax purposes through there. So I'll have to look into that because I'm a full-time content creator. And by the way, 5 years ago, when I started this career into radio media, I had a friend tell me, you need to get into TikTok. And I'm thinking TikTok is for high school, teenage kids. And now 5 years later, I've learned how to cut promos for yourself and myself and create content. So social media and TikTok, you hear the negative aspects, but if you use it the right way, it's a great tool.
Yeah, I have a lot of jokes about social media. It's really funny, I love poking fun at it and saying, it's a highlight reel, to stop comparing yourself to others. It's like comparing real boobs to fake boobs, yeah, they might be more natural, but they definitely look, better in pictures or whatever. I don't know. It's a joke about, that, but I do think it's important to have a presence on social media, and it is a job, like you said, you're a content creator. It is a job. It's a real job. People make a lot of money, and it also brings a lot of joy to some people. It's a lot of fun, and it's a way to vent. Sometimes I could just go on there and complain about some crap that happened, and it makes you feel better, people will comment like, oh, hey, that's great. Some people comment mean things like, oh, first world problems or whatever, and you have to ignore them. You can ignore a lot of things in life.
Comedy is a lot cheaper than seeing a shrink.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's so funny.
When you do your live stand-up performances in front of an audience, how long does it take for you to get a sense or engage an audience's mood?
Oh, that's a good question, because really in the first minute, I try to make them laugh in the first 30 seconds. Like, I get out there and I say, I'm so happy to be here and not with my kids, boom, there's a laugh, right? And they don't even know I'm here. I told them I was going to TJ Maxx. I left yesterday, so I just you try to get them on your side right away. Like, oh yeah, I hate my kids too. I want to get away from my kids too. Because if you don't do that, if they're judging you right away and saying, who's this, woman who's going to tell me jokes, and it doesn't set the mood, right? So it's super important to try to get them right away to try to get them on your side and laughing and comfortable with who you are on stage. I hate when comedians go out and right away they hit them with like a gross, dirty joke. It's like, would you go up to someone? You're just meeting these people for the first time. Would you go up to someone and say, oh, this is how I have sex? Like, no, that's gross. That's not how you develop a rapport with someone. So it's really important to set the mood and make it lighthearted and fun right away so that they like you, and they want to be there in the room with you, and you're on the same page laughing at the same things.
Robyn, when you're doing live stand-up comedy, do you find it more difficult doing it through a sold out bigger audience, or do you find the smaller crowds can be tougher?
That's a really great question. I had a mentor, and he has since passed away. So God rest his soul. Norm Stolz, look, I got his little card right here. And he said, you put on the same show, whether there are 8 people or 800 people. You go out there with the same exact charisma and energy and jokes, because it doesn't matter if there are a few people or a few hundred people. Like, just go and do your show. And I try to keep that in mind every single time that I do a show, no matter what, because it is so important, because every single person that is there in that audience, whether there are 8 or 800, they have paid, they are there for an experience, and I am there to provide it for them. So it is more difficult, I think, in my opinion, to perform for just a few people, but you also can connect a lot more with just a few people than, if you're in like a big theater or, a huge sold out club.
Besides Norm having a big impact on your career as an influencer, did you have any other mentors and influences into your career?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who started before me, and many people who have started after me. Honestly, I feel like you can always learn something from someone, and whether or not they just started or whether or not they've been around for 40 years. There's a lot of really great local people that I love. One team of people in particular that I love, and everyone should follow them, are Sal and Bob. It's Sal D'Amelio and Bob Phillips. They actually have their own podcast too, which is super cool. It's called the Sal and Bob Show, and they put together shows all over Michigan. Every time I get to work with them, it is a complete and utter joy. And I really always ask them for advice. I have a little text thread going with them. I also love to get advice from my husband, Jason, too. We are a good team, and we're always working towards making sure that we both get better together. And it's really nice to have a partnership like that.
By the way, I've had another Detroit, Michigan couple, husband, wife, comedy team on my show maybe a year ago, the Lovelies.
Oh, I love them. In fact, we are doing a show with them in December in Bayport, Michigan. We are doing a holiday show. There's another comedian who's super funny and a really great guy, and he plays Santa. He goes by Kilta Kloss. His name is Jim Dunsmore, and he's going to play Santa in a holiday show. And Jason and I are going to be Elf and his girlfriend, and the Lovelies are going to be the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who in a holiday show we're doing in Bayport, Michigan. That's in the thumb of Michigan up here. Yeah, they're amazing. I love them so much.
It's really a small world. They were on my show a year ago, and they were great people. And that's what I love about the show, connecting people. And it's funny how people just seem to know other people from that industry.
The comedy, it's so crazy. The comedy community, there are so many comedians, and now I feel like my whole social media feed is all comedians. And I said, oh, I know this person, I know this person. And the more you do it, the more you get to know some like people that actually are pretty famous. Like, some of my friends have been on the Tonight Show. It's amazing. It's incredible. I love it. Maybe me someday, right?
And by the way, I have a few comedian friends in LA I can put you in touch with. Mary Kennedy.
Awesome.
She played at Second City in Toronto. By the way, Second City in Toronto is amazing. So if you ever get to do comedy over here, Second City in Toronto is like Second City in Chicago. It's where the late John Candy and a lot of famous Canadian actors like Mike Myers performed as well. And everybody thinks that Canada is hockey, beer, and donuts, but we've had a lot of great comedians come from this country as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we tried to do a show in Toronto, and we sadly did not sell enough tickets, so we had to cancel our show. But we do have some friends and acquaintances out there, and I would love to perform in Toronto. It would be so much fun.
Well, if that does happen, please let me know ahead of time, because I'm about an hour from Toronto, and I would love to come out and hear you perform.
That would be great.
Edward Hearn has another question for you. He wants to know, have you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy at a USO for the military or any different military bases?
That is a route that some people take. Both of our parents, Jason and I, we both had fathers that were in the Army. So yeah, that's a near and dear, cause. And, entertaining the troops is always a fun thing for lots of people. I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I do think that you need to be pretty clean for those shows. And we are both working on doing more clean comedy, but we sort of go by PG-13 route, I think, our comedy. And we tend to probably, I would say our comedy probably leans more towards the dirty route than the clean route right now, but we are working on that. It's not easy to write clean comedy. There are agents that do that. I just recently did like a comedy festival competition called the World Series of Comedy, and the main event is in Las Vegas, and there's a sort of industry afternoon where a lot of comedy bookers come and you get to meet them. And there were a couple of agents that book tours with the military. And I did talk with them a little bit. And it's something that maybe in the future, my husband still currently has a full-time job, but I think once he retires, we'll probably do some research on that, and also perhaps doing cruise tours on cruises. So there's agents that book those tours for the military and cruise tours as well.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Robyn. What's 3 words to describe yourself as a comedian or with your husband, Jason?
Oh, I love it. Okay. For me personally, let's see, 3 words. I think I'm energetic and quirky and likable, I would say, on stage. And Jason, comedy with Jason, I'd say we're a little spicy. Oh, I think that's the only word I can come up with right now on the spot. Let me think. We're a little spicy, I would say that. And we are fun. We're a fun couple. And I think the 3rd word I'd come up with is old. We're old.
I'm 53. I'm old.
We don't
I'm
look
53.
old, but we're in our 50s, and it's fun. I mean, I just think it's something fun for us to do together. And I love doing it apart too. Don't get me wrong. I say I love traveling without my husband because I get to wear my most comfortable, ugliest underwear. And he says he loves it too because he gets to wear my prettiest underwear because I'm not here.
Robyn, do you find there's more husband and wife couples doing comedy? Do you find there's more of it?
It's really funny. There's actually not a lot of it, but there are 3 couples in Michigan, 3 comedy couples that are married. It's us, the Lovelies that you mentioned, and there's another couple, Jason Filan Mars and his wife, Amanda Filan. And we recently did a show with them and with 2 young couples that are not married for Sweetest Day up in the Thumb. It was a lot of fun. But there are some couples, Tom Cotter and his wife, they're a nationally touring comedy couple, but there aren't a lot. There's Sarah Tolomaki and her husband, Joel List. Have you heard of Joel List? They're nationally touring, and he will headline and she will feature for him a lot as a touring couple. But it's funny, when they're on stage together, they don't ever talk about that they are together. So if you don't know who they are, you would never know it by their act that they are a married couple.
How did you come about meeting your husband, Jason, and when did you guys exactly become a comedy duo? And do you remember the first time you did comedy on stage with your husband, Jason?
So we met in high school. My husband and I have been together for a long time. We met in high school. We dated briefly, and then we re-met after college. So there had been a little hiatus, and then we got married in 2000, which was 25 years ago. We've been married for 25 years. We've been together for 30. Thank you. Yes, we've been together for 30. Jason started comedy as sort of a release from his day job. His day job is that he is a urologist. He's a physician, and it's super stressful. And he needed sort of a hobby where he could not think about his day job. So he started doing stand-up comedy, and I was just watching. I was watching in the crowd, and he started talking with a partner about producing some fun shows. And I said, you know what? I kind of want to do this. So I took the class at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle that I told you about, and I started doing comedy as well. So we started producing shows together, and we didn't initially do any comedy together on stage. We were just doing it separately. And recently we started doing a little bit of comedy together. I think one of the first times we did it together on stage was for the Traverse City Comedy Festival, which is so awesome if you're in the upper area of Michigan, or if you want a nice travel vacation. That's going to be in April of 2026. I think it's the third one. We did the first, or the fourth one. We did the first two. The last one we did not do, but we hosted what was called the Dirty Show. So we did a comedy set on stage together, and it was so much fun. But it's a little difficult because our timing is different. He's a really fast talker, my husband, and I'm kind of slow and deliberate, and I can't keep up with him sometimes. But now we're working together. We've got a good 25-minute set that we're doing together on stage with 2 microphones. And so how we're doing our headlining shows, a few of them, is that I'll do 20 minutes alone. We'll do 25 to 30 minutes together, and then he'll do 20 minutes alone to close out the show. So that's been a lot of fun. It's a work in progress. We're working with a comedy coach on that right now to help hone it. He used to write for Joan Rivers, and he is a local Michigan guy who does some comedy classes named Ned Rice, who's also super funny and a good friend of ours. And we love him. So we're working with him to try to hone that and make it a little tighter and better and funnier for more touring around the US and maybe Canada.
Would you recommend that coaching for couples that are even watching this that are looking to get into comedy too? Doing some coaching?
I mean, I don't necessarily condone working with your spouse. It's a little difficult, but if you want to do comedy, I do recommend taking some classes. There's a lot of online classes you can take, and comedy coaches out there. Initially, you might want to just, see what's available for free on YouTube, and see, who might have a style that you like, that you'd like to follow. And then maybe they're offering some private coaching or, group classes. I've taken many in my time as a comedian, and it's, some of them have been worth it, and some of them have been a little, not great for me, but maybe great for someone else. And there's a lot of local classes you can take too. A lot of comedians just teach or coach as well, because sometimes, comedy doesn't pay well, and you can make some extra money as a coach, writing coach, doing punch-ups of jokes, or teaching group classes, or one-on-one classes.
By the way, I've had another stand-up comedian on my show about a year ago. She's from Chicago, Illinois, and she's a doctor. She's an ER doctor. Her name's Ellen Wesley. And the reason she got into comedy is because being a doctor ER is very stressful, and it's hard on your mental health. And she finds comedy is a form of therapy and helping with her mental health to escape the stresses of being a doctor in an ER.
That's absolutely true. And that's exactly why Jason started. He has spoken on podcasts and talked about the importance of finding a stress release and, a relief in your life. And that's what comedy is for him. When he's on stage, he doesn't think about anything else but being on stage. And also likewise for the audience, to go and see a comedy show is really an amazing escape for some people. So we're also providing that for other people, which is really great.
There's been days where I haven't been 100%, but as soon as the camera goes on and I start talking to my guests, my adrenaline kicks in and I feel so much better. For me, this is a form of therapy as well.
Yeah. And also finding a sense of purpose. Don't you think? Like, this is a sense of purpose for you to create this podcast, to share with other people, to help them escape from their, mundane or lives or stress, or, maybe they're looking for a sense of purpose, and they will see this and be inspired to maybe try comedy. And it just is a snowball effect of spreading some joy in the world where, we might be struggling.
Mindset too, because you're going to get a lot of people that support you, and then you're going to get your skeptics and naysayers. And also too, and I'm sure you get this in comedy too, you're going to get your successes and yeses, and sometimes you're going to get your no's. You can't take the no's personally. I use it as motivation to keep improving and getting better and learning all the time.
It's so important. I love it. I love that. There's a couple that teaches this theory. It's called Go for No. And it started basically as a sales theory, but I feel like it applies to so many things. it's funny, you'll have haters, right? When they see that you're successful and you're doing well. But I'm not out there posting about all the times that I've reached out to people and I've gotten rejection and I've gotten
Yeah.
no's. I've done so many auditions and I have applied to so many festivals and clubs where people have said no, you're not a good fit, you're not ready, we don't like your look, we don't like your comedy, this and that and the other thing. And you have to just focus on moving forward and getting better, and you can't think about anything else. It's so important to make sure to, like you said, keep a good mindset and focus on the people that want you around. I have a good friend, his name is Charles Hill. He's also an amazing comedian, and he says go where you're loved. And it's true about friendships and support groups and comedy and anywhere. You just have to find your people, and if you continue to be authentic and yourself, the right people will show up, the right clubs will book you, you'll have the right opportunities, and that's just what I'm out here doing.
And I reach out to a lot of potential guests through social media too, and a lot of times they get yes, sometimes no, or sometimes people check out your work and then are like, "Oh, this guy's work is not bad. Okay, we'll come on his show." That's why I tell people in the radio industry or doing live streaming, don't worry about the numbers. Just focus on having good guests, good shows, build a rapport with your guests. Just like with comedy, you want to build a rapport with your audience as well. It goes a long
Yeah.
ways.
Well, I'm glad you asked me, and I'm glad I said yes. I'm having a good time today.
Well, thank you. Robyn, are you okay for a couple more questions, a few more minutes, time-wise?
Sure. Yeah, I
Okay.
am.
Can you just tell us how you and Jason came up with the name Hard G Comedy and the importance of branding and marketing yourselves as a comedy duo?
I love that question because it's kind of a twofold thing. We actually even tell jokes about it. They're not G rated, so I won't tell them here. But actually, Jason, one of the first times he performed, he went up to the person and they said, "How do you pronounce your last name?" And he said, "Oh, it's Gilleran with a hard G." And he wrote hard G, next to it. And Jason thought, I like that. So he actually created his TikTok as Hard G, and his Instagram is Hard G. Now I have since taken over the Hard G comedy Instagram and created it as our dual Instagram. We don't have a dual TikTok. So he still has the Hard G one and he refuses to give it up. But when we performed at Zanies in Chicago, they put the G in quotes, which I thought was really funny because maybe that means we're not quite G comedy. It's more PG or PG-13. So there's a lot of layers of what that means, but basically it is about how to pronounce our last name, which is not Gilleran, it's Gilleran.
Any chance in the future for merchandise and stuff like that, hats, t-shirts and stuff too?
I created our logo. We have a Hard G comedy logo and it's pretty crappy. So I actually just talked with someone about redoing the logo and making it look better. It's actually, the G is like a stone G with eyes and glasses. And it says hard, and then comedy. So I have somebody working on that. We do have some merch. I sell buttons at our comedy shows. They have funny sayings on them, and some of them do say Hard G Comedy. And we sell some stickers too that say Hard G Comedy. But we haven't done any hats or shirts. It's a little difficult to keep the sizing in stock that people need and want. And to travel with that when you're doing your shows, it's just a lot to carry. And that's why buttons and stickers seem to work really well for us.
Have you had the audience come up and ask for your autograph or a photo with you and Jason yet?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
I love taking photos with fans, and I always say I give out free hugs, so come say hi to me after the show. I say I take donations for them though, for my Botox, but yeah, and we've had autographs. It's really cool when you actually get to work at a club and they make you sign your headshot, and then they put the headshot on the wall. That's been a lot of fun. We've done that a few times now.
It's nice too. When I go to Toronto and do some media work for a number of pro sports teams, I have strangers come up to me and shake my hand and say how much they like my work, and it's really a nice feeling when people you don't know come up and they want a selfie with you or shake your hand and just say, "Hey, thank you for the work you do." It's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's fun. And I do some traveling, just hosting and featuring for other big headliners. And a lot of times after the show, I volunteer to help take pictures for the headliner of them and their fans. Like these are people that have big fan bases. And a lot of times people will say, "Oh, can I get a picture with you too?" And that's always flattering. I always love that. It's fun. I mean, we do it for the recognition. We're all whores for recognition out there. Any entertainer is, I think.
Speaking of this, I checked out your demo reel on your website. How can people find your website since we're going to promote it on here?
Oh yeah. Well, I have a personal website myself. It's Robyn Gilleran, which is spelled with a Y, and it's GILLERAN.com. And we also have hardgcomedy.com. And so you can find information about my husband and myself there, or information about me at the Robyn Gilleran website.
And it's on the bottom of my ticker too.
Yay! Woohoo!
And maybe one day you and Jason will have to start your own podcast show.
I've tried. He is such a busy person, but I'm actually in the midst of working with another female comedian, and we are planning to do a podcast. It was supposed to launch this fall, but maybe 2026 we'll get it going. And you've inspired me. I think that it's about time that we do that.
Please let me know when it comes about, and I would love to have you and your co-host on, and I'd like to subscribe and follow as well.
That sounds great. I would love that, Chris. Thank you so much.
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to play this demo reel from your website, and I thought it was a great demo reel, and we're going to play it 1 second. I'm just going to play the audio, and if you can't hear the audio, then we'll fire the audio guy, which is me. Just 1 second. Yep.
We're at Selden Standard, located in Detroit's Midtown neighborhood.
The court will now hear expert testimony.
Your Honor.
Order!
That's right, Judge. 50% off all windows and 0% interest for up to 5 years.
Case dismissed.
You can count on the Sam Bernstein Law Firm the same way you count on your own family.
We help families overcome obstacles, and us. We're stronger together.
The Hospitality Training Institute of Michigan is ready to help. To step up to new responsibilities.
Treadmill dance a day keeps those pounds away. Let's go. You got this. Pick it up. Back and mountain. Here we go. Let's go. No water. No brakes. No water. No brakes.
Life happens.
Individual game suite rentals are available now for groups of 20 to 35 guests. Will satisfy from first pitch to final out. To reserve your suite,
You okay, Dad?
I am now. I just got the Bernstein Advantage. It's free.
And we're hard to please, so they were
Employee roles and create schedules.
If you live south of this, you're this.
Trolls.
Thoughts, Robyn, on this demo role, which was just recently in September 2025.
Yay! I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. So will people see that, or was it just the audio that was playing?
No, they'll see the video too with StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so they'll see the video and the audio too. Yes, I thought it was great, and that's amazing. Just thoughts on that demo reel, and maybe a little bit about your work as an actor and a voiceover talent.
Sure. Well, the hardest part about being an actor is that I feel like I am not a professional actor. I feel like I am a professional auditioner. I spend so much time auditioning for jobs that I don't get. And you don't really know that as a general public, how much work goes into all of that. So it can be very frustrating. So every single time that I get booked on something, it feels like a huge win, especially something that's so big, like that commercial where I play the judge. That plays all the time here locally in Michigan. It's for WeatherGuard windows, and it was an amazing opportunity. Not so much because it was like a great paying job, but because I'm getting so much recognition as an actor in town, where that plays all over social media, and it's during Wheel of Fortune. Like it's all over. So I have actually incorporated some jokes about that commercial, because it's relatable. People have seen it. At least one or two people in every crowd have seen it and are like, oh my God, yes, I know that woman. So it's kind of cool. And Sam Bernstein, I have jokes about them too, because everybody knows that in town is our hugest law firm. And I've been in a few commercials for them.
Have you met Dan Campbell yet, the head coach of the Detroit Lions, who does commercials for them?
I've not
No.
met Dan Campbell.
I live in Ontario, but I do get a lot of the Detroit channels, so I've probably seen you on the commercials a few times already.
That's fun. I love it. Yeah, well, it's fun to have a little, snippet of all the stuff that you've done. There are some jobs that I've tried to track down, the recordings to add them, and it's a bummer. I can't find it. There's some stuff I did for Little Caesars, which was fun, and a couple other commercials that I've been in that I can't find. Like one was for the Michigan Census, but it's a bummer. You can't get clips of everything.
Robyn, what's up next on your bucket list for being a comedian and voiceover and as an actor?
I love it. Well, I really would love to get an agent in the Chicago area. I've been working on that, and just to get more jobs out there. And I really my next goal is to try to get a national commercial. I would love to be in a commercial where I make a lot of money and it's everywhere that people can see it. I think that would be a lot of fun. And as far as comedy goes, I really just want to hone this set that I'm doing together with my husband. I really want to make it funny. I feel like it's something that's unique. And eventually when he retires from being a doctor, I think it would be really fun to take it on cruises. I think that would be a lot of fun to do with him. So as far as goals go for that, I'd really like to work together with him. And also in the meantime, while he is still working, I want to try to get some more feature work out there on my own, featuring for some national headliners and working at some big clubs around the US and Canada.
By the way, I've had a guest on my show a couple times from Los Angeles. His name is Nino Sciamino, and he's a producer, director, and writer, along with Chris Spinelli, who's an actor. I should put you in touch with Nino. He's a really good guy, and he's into the making films, and he's an actor as well, too.
Well, that's great. Yeah, if you ever had a spot for me, that would be a fun thing to do. I'll go out to LA. I do have family that's out there as well, so maybe I could stay as a local.
And Nino is from Chicago, so he still has strong Chicago ties as well, and he's a good guy, so I'll definitely put you in touch with him, too.
That sounds great. Thanks, Chris.
By the way, before we wrap up this show, do you have any rituals that you and Jason do before a live performance?
That's an interesting question. No, we're basically running and rushing to shows. A lot of times we're doing shows and he's wrapping up work and rushing home, and I've got the car loaded with our equipment if we need our equipment, or we're ready to go catch a flight or drive to a place. And so no rituals other than just trying to remember that we everything that we need, and get in the car, or whatever, get there on time.
What are your thoughts on the writing aspect of comedy?
It's important to write all the time. If you have a funny idea, if you're with friends and you say something and they laugh, to be I have a notes app in my phone and I put it in there, because you never know what's going to turn into a joke. It's always important to, just be writing all the time. There's so many funny things everywhere you look, and everyday life that could be relatable to someone, and they may laugh at it. So it's important to do that. Also, there are some rules to writing. You need to find somebody who, teaches a system of how to tell a joke, and see how that works in you, how you want to tell jokes. There's simple one-liners, there's storytelling where you add in punchlines. There's lots of ways to write. So it is important to find what works best for you, and keep doing that all the time.
Do you ever, as a comedian, along with Jason, ever incorporate some of your life experiences as being a parent, which is a full-time job itself?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes. Because there's so many parents out there, and there's everybody out there has been a kid, or, and so they'll find a story relatable, and it's fun. It's just important to make sure that people know that they're jokes. I tell jokes about my kids, and sometimes I post them online, and people get their panties in a wad that, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would say that about your child. And my son's in on the jokes. He thinks they're funny. My sons, both of them, they think that it's goofy. In fact, I asked my son Elliot once, because I do tell a joke where I say, his name, and I said, listen, this is going to be recorded for Sirius. This could be on Sirius, XM, and people are going to hear this. Do you want me to make it a fictional character? Because the jokes in and of themselves are jokes. They're fictional jokes about, exaggerated situations. And he said, no, I kind of like it. I think it's fun that you say Elliot. So I'm still saying Elliot.
Robyn, as we wrap up this show, what's a fun fact about yourself?
Oh, what's a fun fact about me? Guess what? I play the accordion.
Wow. Did not know that.
Fun fact.
How did that come about?
I'm terrible at it. When I was in high school, one of my best friends had an accordion, and I played it for our talent show while they closed the curtains in between each act, so they could set up the next act behind the curtain. So I would walk in front of the curtain, and I was dressed with like my grandma was Polish, and I wore like this babushka and this like muumuu type thing, and I walked slowly in slippers across the stage playing this accordion. It was a small little accordion. I took 13 years of classical piano. And I've never been trained in accordion, but I have taken some online classes, and I bought a small one because Judy Tenuta, who was a accordion comedian in the 80s, she passed away a few years ago. And so I thought, there is a space for me now. So maybe someday you'll see me doing a comedy bit with my accordion. I've tried it a couple times, and it's failed miserably, but got to keep trying.
What are your thoughts on ventriloquists? I've actually had a couple on my show.
Oh, I think it's difficult, right? To talk without moving your mouth. Like, hello, my name is Robyn. Like, how do you do that? But yeah, I mean, I think it's fun. I think it's a good way to tell jokes without you being the bad guy. You can make the dummy is the bad guy. The dummy is, oh, I didn't say that. The dummy said that. So I think it's kind of a fun way to, be an ass on stage without having yourself be the one that's in trouble.
My first guest 6 years ago was a female ventriloquist from Los Angeles, Christine Barger, and my other one was from Australia, Lindy Jane. And it's not easy what they do, and they do it because they like comedy, but it's a form of therapy as well. It's a special skill.
I love it. That's great.
So as we wrap up this show, Robyn, this is called Ask the Host CDP a question segment. Do you have a question for me to put me on the hot seat as we wrap this up?
I do. One of my questions that I'd love to ask is, who was your favorite guest that you had on your podcast so far, and how do we find the episode so we could watch it?
I've had a lot of great guests on here, including yourself. I would say one of my favorite guests would be the Philly Fanatic. The gentleman, his name is Tom Burgoyne. He's played the Philly Fanatic for like 38 years. That's the mascot for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's like one of the best known mascots in pro sports and in the world. I approached Tom Burgoyne, and he gave me his phone number. We talked on the phone, and he came on my show for an hour. So I would say him, and then Ken Daniels, the voice of the Detroit Red Wings. Darren McCarty, who's a 4-time Stanley Cup champion from the Red Wings, came on. I just approach people, and I've been very lucky. But I would say having the Philly Fanatic come on, and I've just been really lucky with all these guests. And I tell people, when you start this, it takes time. I couldn't get guests on the first 4 months. I wasn't very good, I admit it, but I kept at it. And eventually one guest now has led to 700 guests over the last 6 years. So
isn't it amazing that no matter what you do in life, if you put the hours in, you get better? It's so great. I love it. I love that you did that.
The word I want to say, and I see it in you too, is passion. whatever you do in life, if you don't have that passion, it's probably time to move on to something else.
Yeah, and that's why I said know your why. You have to know your why when you're doing something, because when it gets hard, and inevitably everything gets hard, because
Yep.
you have to go back to the why am I doing this? Why? Because that will help motivate you to keep going.
And I was on a radio station for a couple years in Georgia, done remotely from my home. And fortunately, the radio media industry, as much as I love it, can be tough at times.
Yeah.
The owners of the station pulled the plug on the station, so my show is a casualty. But I am still working on getting this into a radio station again, or to continue to build my brand, just like yourself and your husband, Jason, is as well.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. It's the guests that make a great show, and I always try to make my guests feel comfortable and at ease, and hopefully they come back on again in the future.
Well, I'd love to be back. Thank you.
Finally, where can our audience follow you on social media, your website, and the best way of contacting you directly? And if you'd like to mention some of your upcoming shows.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can always be reached through RobynGilleran.com. It's Robyn with a Y. And we also have a website, Hard G Comedy. And on that website, we have our current list of shows, usually, where you can get ticket links, all of that. And as far as upcoming performances go, they're always there. They're always there. Our next big one, if you're watching this within, the next few weeks here, is on November 21st and 22nd. We are headlining Big Tommy's Comedy Club in Novi, Michigan, and we're super excited about that. It's going to be a really fun weekend of shows. And if you are in the Niles, Michigan area, or anywhere near Indiana, that area, we're going to be there headlining for Valentine's Day weekend. So grab your sweetie or your friends and come see us. It'll be a great show there at the Underground Laugh Lounge.
And I want to wish you and Jason and your family a happy U.S. Thanksgiving. We had hers in October. Ours is a bit earlier than yours. So happy U.S. Thanksgiving. And also, I want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas, happy holiday season as well. We're not that far away.
I know. Thank you. Get your shopping done, people.
Definitely. So, hey, Robyn, I want to say thank you so much for doing this today. And if Jason ever would like to come on and talk about his career as a comedian and as a doctor, he has an open invite as well.
I'm sure he'd love to do that. That'll be great. Maybe we'll come back together someday too.
Definitely. And thank you so much. Give me a little time this afternoon and I will send you the full video, the audio, and I'll do some reels and clips for you as well. And I'll tag you in on social media. It was a pleasure getting to talk to you. And I know we haven't known each other a long time, but it feels like I've known you for years now.
Oh, that's great. Well, I try to always be authentic, and so people can really get to know the real me. And so I appreciate that. I'm really happy to get to know you as well.
Continued success, Robyn, and hopefully one day you and Jason will be playing comedy over here in Ontario as well.
I would love it. Thank you so much for all your help in promoting my stuff, and I'm happy to promote yours as well. Can't wait to watch that show that you mentioned. I can't wait. Yay!
I'll send you the link to it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Robyn. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye. You too, Chris.
All right, everybody, that wraps up season 12, episode 13, overall 618 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. Again, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. You can check out their website, barrycullen.com, or give them a call at 519-824-0210. Tell them Chris Pomay sent you, or email them at info@barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, the Chevy Bolt is coming back with a refreshed design. Meet the 2027 Chevrolet Bolt, anticipated arrival early 2026. More details at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph, and check out the Black Friday sale at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership. Pop by the dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall and tell them that Chris Pomay sent you as well. I have another announcement here. My next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show will be on Monday, November 17th. Monday, November 17th, 5 p.m. Eastern, with my special guest. She is a content creator from Toronto, Ontario, and I'm hoping I get her first name right. I'm going to practice it on the weekend. Her name is Kushruri. She's a content creator out of Toronto. So this weekend, I'm going to try to pronounce her name right as well. So I'm looking forward to my next show. And I have a gentleman from WGN News in Chicago on my show next Thursday as well. Eli Ong is going to come on from WGN News in Chicago, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Chicago Bears. So I have more Live with CDP sports and entertainment talk shows for next week as well. And the Small Talk podcast with Marlene Sharp and yours truly will return on Monday, November 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 on the West Coast, with her special guest, Hollywood screenwriter, producer, director, Emilio Hughes Martinez will be on our show. So the Small Talk podcast, after a little bit of a hiatus, will be back on Monday, November 24th at 8 p.m. as well. And I want to say thank you to my guest today, Matt Derry from Locked In Lions, for coming on this morning, and my guest today, Robyn Gilleran, for coming on as well. I really appreciate this as well. And as we wrap up this show, everybody, again, you can follow my guest Robyn on her platforms. I have them right here on the top. You can check them out on hardgcomedy.com, and she's also on Facebook as well as Instagram, and TikTok as well. I'm going to have to follow Robyn on TikTok as well, and she's on Threads. So all her social media sites are on here as well. And as we wrap up this show, guys, it is coming on Christmas season. If you'd like a personalized video message from yours truly, CDP, go to cameo.com, type in Chris Pame. I do happy birthday wishes, happy anniversary, pep talk. If you want to talk to me about sports, some of my favorite interviews, favorite freelance media jobs they've done, check me out on cameo.com/Chris Pame. You can follow me on Blue Sky Social, which is like what Twitter used to be. Blue Sky Social at Live with CDP19 if you want to follow me there as well. If you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society, located at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0, or visit their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals that are up for adoption, their profiles are available there as well. And I'm also, for the next month, selling 2026 Cambridge District Humane Society calendars for $10. The money, the proceeds, go back to the programs at the Cambridge District Humane Society. If you're looking for a birthday gift, a Christmas gift, or a stocking stuffer, email me at cpame19@gmail.com or DM me on my social media pages. My goal is to sell 40 calendars and raise $400. So far, I've sold 20 calendars and $200. So come on, everybody. If you're looking for a little Christmas gift or a birthday gift, please consider purchasing a calendar from yours truly, CDP. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. You can also check out my website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. You can follow this content creator on TikTok at Chris Pame. Check out my latest content there as well. And thank you to everyone for following me and liking my videos there as well. So at Chris Pame on TikTok. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or live streaming, check out StreamYard.com. They have basic free plans, paid professional plans, or if you're a business that does a lot of webinars or live streaming, go to StreamYard.com and contact their sales department for pricing as well. Yours truly has been with StreamYard now for 5 years, and I give them a big thumbs up. Finally, guys, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. The audio version is on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for Podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, TuneIn, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. And again, please like, share, and subscribe on my audio platforms, which I have 70 countries now around the world listening to this show. And I want to say thank you so much as well. You can email the show live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpame19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you'd like to support my YouTube channel and my talk show, you really like my work and my interviews, I am on PayPal. cpame19@gmail.com on PayPal if you'd like to tip the hosts and contribute to my YouTube channel and media work as well. Or book a cameo through cameo.com/Chris Pame. Finally, guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Threads, Twitter, X, Instagram, Blue Sky Social, every social media form except Snapchat. And also remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to Chris Pame, Live with CDP Talk Show. Hit subscribe, like, and share there as well. And that wraps it up for today. 2 shows today, and I'm really thankful for my guests. I want to say thank you to Matt Derry from Locked On Lions for coming on, and stand-up comedian Robyn Gilleran. Robyn Gilleran for coming on here as well. So really thank you. And I love doing what I'm doing. And I want to say thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet for being an advertiser on this show. And thank you to everyone watching this live stream and on my audio platforms. And as we wrap this show up, guys, we've got some sports tonight. We've got NBA action going on tonight for the NBA Cup. The Philadelphia 76ers take on the Detroit Pistons, who have won 8 in a row tonight at Little Caesars Arena at 7:30. And then the Detroit Red Wings, coming off a win last night, 6-3 to Anaheim. They're back in action tomorrow night against the struggling Buffalo Sabres. Sabres and Red Wings at Little Caesars tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So if you're a fan of the Pistons and Red Wings, a lot of action going on. And speaking of NFL, you got the biggest game of the week in the season going on Sunday Night Football at 8:20 on NBC. The Detroit Lions 6-3 take on the Eagles 7-2. This could be a preview of this year's NFC Championship game, which should have happened last year, but unfortunately Washington kind of put a stop to that with beating the Lions at Ford Field. So looking forward to it. Lions and Eagles at 8:20. And of course, the CFL's Grey Cup is this Sunday at 6 o'clock from Princess Auto Stadium between the Montreal Alouettes and the Saskatchewan Roughriders as well. And I'm going to watch some of that game as well. That is about it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening and watching Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And if you're a business looking to advertise on a live stream platform such as this, you can contact me at cpame19@gmail.com through CDP Media Productions, and I'd be happy to work with you on advertising your business on this live stream show, which is on 21 platforms, listeners in 70 countries around the world, and I have now over 560,000 views on YouTube. So reach out to me if you're looking to advertise on here as well. I hope everybody has a great afternoon, great weekend, and we'll see you back here Monday night, Monday, November 17th at 5 o'clock for another edition of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Have a great afternoon, everybody.